Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be going through my new list of 5-star predictions. I have done this video 2 times with varying levels of success, I would say. You can go back and check out those videos. I don't know if I am bad at predicting what kinds of books I am going to give 5 stars or if I'm just too stingy and I don't give enough books 5 stars, but I have had a lot of fun putting these videos together, and I would highly recommend that you check out the previous ones and obviously stick around for this one. But I am hoping I try to do these videos once every 6 months. I put 8 books usually in each video and then set myself the goal of reading those 8 books over a period of time of 6 months. And like, I have gotten through most of the books on the previous list, not all of them, but I did a pretty good job both times of making it through the books on those lists, and I'm looking forward to seeing how these ones turn out. It has probably been more fun for me than it has been for anybody else, because I'm like, oh, what am I gonna do? Like, is this gonna end up being a 5-star hit or not? And I don't think I put any more pressure on myself. I don't think that I psychologically I am psyching myself out, and I don't think it's having an impact on how I rate the books. I would like to think that they're getting the same rating post doing this video than they would otherwise, but I have done this video, so there's no way for us to know. There's a Sarah in an alternate dimension who knows the answer to that question, but this Sarah does not. There are 8 books, like I said, on this list, and I am going to try to talk about each of one of them pretty briefly so that we don't make this too lengthy. And I have talked about some of them before. I haven't talked about others, but I am very excited to read all of them. The very first book on this video, or on this list, is Nettle and Bone. So this is a book that has been appreciated by several booktubers whose opinions I really care about, and whose tastes, I think, even if they don't align perfectly with mine, I feel like the things that they enjoyed about this book are things that I also like. I have sneakily also asked some people in like the comment sections of some of my videos if they think that I will like this based on my taste, and people seem to think that the answer to that is yes. So hopefully we're starting off strong with a book that is going to get a full 5 stars. I don't know a whole lot about the plot of this book. I know that it is dark, and it is, I don't know if it's a fairy tale retelling or if it just feels like a fairy tale, but I think it's going to be one of those atmospheric books that I really end up enjoying. It's quite short. I'm hoping to read this one relatively soon, and like I said, hopefully this will be a full 5 stars. The second book is a book that I picked up on a book haul when I went to the bookstore, and I got it together with Nettle and Bone, actually. So I picked both of these books up on the same day, and I had very high hopes for both of them. And that second one is The Ogres and the Orphans by Kelly Barnhill. So this is the author of The Girl Who Drank the Moon, which is one of my favorite middle grade books of all time. It is a book that I love. I loved the writing. I loved the story. I loved the setup. I loved the execution. I am absolutely going to go back and reread it probably many times throughout my life, and I have never read anything else by Kelly Barnhill. So when I saw this one in the bookstore, it was on a display, I think like there was some inkling in the back of my mind that this book was in existence. I think I had read about it before, but I obviously had forgotten about it, and so I picked it up instantly, and I thought, if this could bring me the same amount of joy as The Girl Who Drank the Moon, I would be so, so happy. I have no idea what it's about. I did not even read the back. I'm not kidding. I just saw that it was by Kelly Barnhill, and I picked it up, and I was like, this is going to be one of those books that I'm just going to go in and try to enjoy, knowing very little about it. So I hope that I really like it. If not, then hopefully there'll be someone that I can pass it along to. But I presume there is an ogress and that there are orphans based on the title, but I honestly can't tell you anything more than that. The third book on the list is one that has been on my personal TBR for a really long time. Excuse me, but I have been hearing about it a lot more recently after I put out my Pulitzer Prize winning recommendations list. A lot of people in the comment section commented that this was one of their favorite Pulitzer Prize winning novels, and one that they think is particularly accessible, especially for sci-fi fantasy fans, and that is The Amazing Adventures of Cavalier and Clay. I believe this is about a comic book writer. I think the main character of the story is a graphic novelist or a a graphic artist. I'm not sure which one. But other than that, I honestly don't know a lot about this book either. I have owned it for years. It has been on my bookshelf. It has been transported from house to house. It's been through many moves with me. And I don't know why I haven't picked it up. It's not particularly big. A lot of people have told me how much they like it. There are people that I'm good friends with. It is their favorite book of all time. It's just one of those books that I haven't gotten around to. Maybe it's the hype. Maybe it's that I don't know if it can live up to the expectations that I have in my head, but now is the time. It is the time to finally get to it. I want to get some of those Pulitzer Prize winners off the list. I want to try to be more diligent about reading from that list because I always or almost always end up enjoying those books. And this is one, like I said, that has been on my list for a very long time. So let's hope for a full 5 stars for that one. After that, we have a book that was on my 22 books to read in 2022 list, and that is the book My Brilliant Friend. So this is the beginning of, I don't know if this is a trilogy or a quartet, but it is a collection of novels about, I believe, 2 young girls who grow up as friends in Italy, and it follows either their families, like it's either an intergenerational family story or it's the story of their lives from childhood into adulthood. But I just know that it is contemporary / literary fiction. It's about strong female relationships and life changes, and I've heard that it's particularly beautiful. I know that there was a TV series that was made of this. I have not seen that, but who knows, maybe if I really enjoy these books, then I will look into watching the TV series. But this was already on my list of books that I have to read in 2022, and it just feels like, based off the minimal amount that I know about it, it feels like something that I could really fall in love with and that I could really enjoy. So I'm hoping, like all of the books on this list, that it will be a hit for me and that I will want to immediately go into the rest of the series. After that, we have Babel, which I've talked about in several recent videos. That is R.F. Kuang's upcoming release, and it is about translation, about students, about the relationship that is inherent between the translator and the translated work, about what is lost during the process of translation. And I think what R.F. Kuang has done here specifically is build a magic system that is centered around what we lose during the act of translation. But I am very intrigued. I know Patrick loved this one. He got to read an early copy, and I am so looking forward to it. I am hoping that this is going to not only be a 5-star read, but be one of my favorite books of the year, because I just feel like I'm gonna love it. I really hope that I do. After that, we have Revival by Stephen King. So this was also on my 22 books to read in 2022 list. This is one of my neglected King books, as I have talked about in previous videos, the kind of backlist of books by Stephen King that I haven't gotten around to reading. But many people who are big Stephen King fans have told me that this one is terrifying, which is why I've clearly been pushing it off to the second half of the year because I'm a little bit scared to read it, but also excellent. I have heard nothing but good things about this one. I've heard that it's creepy, it's got a great ending, and all around it just seems to be one that Stephen King fans seem to be pretty unified about, which is, it's not that common with his works. There's usually people on both sides of the road with most of his books, but people seem to really enjoy this one. So hopefully I will be a member of that camp, and I'm hoping that it won't scare me too much. I'm sure it will scare me because many things do scare me, but hopefully it won't be the kind of fear that sits with me for too long. After Revival is a new release for this year that I have not picked up yet. It did not make my pre-orders video because it had already been released and I didn't realize it, but I was going through my Goodreads trying to update it. I am the worst. Sorry for the tangent here, but I'm the worst at updating Goodreads. And actually at the end of last year, I feel like Jake Bishop made a comment, just a throwaway comment in Discord being like, yeah, Sarah sucks at Goodreads. And I was like, I'm gonna not suck. I am gonna be the best updater on Goodreads this year. Clearly I have issues with performance and being competitive, but it was the right thing to say because I was like, I am going to do I'm going to be awesome at updating Goodreads. I'm going to be so on the ball. And for several months at the beginning of the year, I updated it. I wrote reviews. I put things in at the appropriate times. I even started putting the like little what you're reading up in the corner. And I have fallen behind. It has been months since I updated it. And I'm going to try to go through and just like get them all out. But I haven't. And I was staring at my computer, being like, you should really do this, and like sitting mindlessly in front of it, wishing that I was doing something, but not actually doing it, as I'm sure many people can relate to. And while I was doing that, I decided to look at my books that I had flagged as to be read. And this one popped up. So now we've made it to the title of the book in a very roundabout way. But this book is called Bitch, and then it's called On the Female of the Species. So that is the title. And it's by Lucy Cook, who wrote the book The Truth About Animals, which is one of my favorite nonfiction books of all time. I talked about in a recent video how much myself and my family love animals. We like eat up all kinds of animal content, like documentaries, movies about animals, shows, books, whatever. We love animal stuff. And her book is one of my favorite adult works of nonfiction that is based around animals. She is a zoologist and she's worked in the field. She's done a lot of research. She's got a really cool perspective and also a very engaging voice when she's writing. And this is all about the females of the species. So basically the synopsis on the back of the book talks about how in the animal kingdom we get to hear a lot of really cool things about the males of the species, about their mating rituals, about their cool adaptations, and what nature has helped them develop in order to obtain their place in the animal kingdom. And it feels like sometimes the female of the species can get lost or left behind or not talked about as much. And this is her celebrating some of the wild and wonderful and cool adaptations that the female of the species have. And I'm really looking forward to it because she had some super weird facts in her first book about female hyenas in particular, things that I had not known before I read that book, and it was really fascinating, and I trust that she's gonna have a lot of really cool stuff in this one. So if you are an animal geek like me, then I would recommend this book without having read it because I think it's gonna be really good, and I am really looking forward to reading it. And that brings us to the very last book on the list, and I decided to pull one. So one of my reading goals for the year had been to read previously owned books. So I decided to pull one from my shelves that I own and have not read. And this is probably one of the books that I have had the longest, has gone unread the longest, and it is called The Joy Luck Club. I believe the author's name is Amy Tan. But this book I have owned for a really long time because, like, very randomly, I don't watch a lot of movies, and I never have watched a lot of movies or a lot of TV. But for some reason, I was obsessed with the movie The Joy Luck Club in my late childhood, early adolescence. And I don't know why. It is, I guess I do know why. It's a story about intersecting female lives and about I believe it's a group of friends. I don't know if some of them are related by blood, if there's a pair of sisters or if they're cousins or what, but I know that it's a group of female friends and it's about their lives and the lives of their children and what happens to them, how they come together, how they support each other, how they fall out with each other. And it's just an intergenerational story that involves a lot of heartbreak and then some happiness. And I really loved it. I remember, now this is a very random fact, and I'll have to check afterwards to see if it's true, but I remember when Crazy Rich Asians came out, that there was a lot of articles or a lot of buzz around the fact that it was the first like critically acclaimed full-length feature film starring a complete Asian cast since The Joy Luck Club. I know there have been other films. I don't know if it's one that just was like unanimously loved or was over a certain budget. I can't remember. There was some sort of link between The Joy Luck Club and Crazy Rich Asians. And I remember reading that because I remember thinking, man, I really loved The Joy Luck Club. I should read that book sometime. And then it got forgotten again for, whatever reason. But I'm going to do it. 2022 is going to be the year that I finally read The Joy Luck Club. Hopefully I will love it as much as I love the movie. And I think probably, because it's been many years since I watched the movie, after I read the book, I will watch the movie again. And hopefully I will love the both of them. And then I can compare them and see, what pulled me in so much as a kid and which one I think stands, which one I enjoy more. The answer is usually the book, but sometimes when you've already loved the movie, like with The Princess Bride for me, then the book falls a little bit shorter. So we shall see what happens. But that is it. I feel like this is a very rambly 5-star video, so I apologize for that. But hopefully you are also looking forward to hearing my opinions on some of these books. If you have read any of them, please let me know. Did you give them 5 stars? Do you think that I will give them 5 stars? What do you think I will, or how do you think I will judge these books? Do you think that they are going to be new favorites for me? Do you think that I have absolutely misjudged some of them? I would love to hear your thoughts, and I will see you with another video soon. Bye!